Right. We begin the Zohar lesson number 11. The page Gimel 3, the right column in the Hasulam, in the commentary Hasulam, and I will start with the line 16, just a little bit explain some things that he translated of the Ot Bet, the paragraph Bet. I explained a little bit, or I gave some additional explanation in the left column above, from line 1 to line 12. But now we're turning back to the line 16 on the right column. Miriam asked me after the lesson was finished, the last lesson, or she said to me that the word benediction sounds a little bit, how I would say it, archaic, old-fashioned, religious. That comes from, probably, it sounds that it comes from another side, another kind of religion, like this. They used to use this word benediction. And she proposed the word better sounds the word blessing, or blessings. That, I see. I made then the note, and I feel it like this. These two words are actually two different terms, or they are translations of two different terms of Hebrew words. They are similar, they are synonyms, but still different. What is the difference between the benediction and the blessing? And here in this text of the Zohar, he uses the word benediction, and it is right, and not the blessing. Why? Why not? The blessing is something that one can bless another one. One person can bless another one. And he does it just by ordinary words. Maybe also a kind of formula, not formula, but words that are usually by which one is blessed by another one. Or maybe may you be blessed with all good in your life, etc. There is in blessing there is no formula, but a benediction is a kind of blessing that is according to a certain formula. We can't say just blessing on the wine or the Shabbat Eve. We say a benediction. Because why? Because it is a certain formula how to say it. And in this formula, the words, all the connections between the words and what every word means is of huge importance. And we can't change them in another sequence. Whilst a blessing, you can change it. It depends on someone's attitude. May you be blessed with this, with children, with richness. May God bless you. Any kind of wording is possible. That's what I feel in this question. What we do in our Zohar lessons is that we try to combine the Torah shebichtav, the Torah, the written Torah, with the oral Torah, Torah shebal peh. And this is something very special to do it, because the Torah, the written Torah, is attracted from the Zeir Anpin, from the masculine part of the Atzilut. And the Torah, the oral Torah, is attracted to us. We attract it by learning the Torah. And this corresponds to Malchut, to the feminine part. And by doing them together in one lesson, we bring them to the unity, or we bring them, we deliver them, as it were, a part of our man. Learning is giving man, a kind of, we know what is man, a prayer. And that's what we are doing by combining these two. The line 16, I'll just go through, and maybe we will find some things that needs more attention. Ulavatar itkar, and afterwards it is mentioned, and he says, Uachar kach niskar 17 Shem Elokim pa'am acheret, and then afterwards the name Elokim in the Torah is mentioned the second time. From the beginning of the Torah, it was the second time that this word, this name, was mentioned in the Torah. And it is from words Elokim, Rachefet, that means, and Elokim, remember this name, hovering. It's very important to see in which form the words are used in the Torah. Very often is it translated as hover it, but it's in the original text. It's written marachefet. It means is still hovering. This is an perpetual process of enduring process of hovering of the Spirit of Elohim above the surface of the waters. And you see, merachefet. It is like, it is in English, they call it participle, present participle. 18. Velama niskar pa'am acheret, and why is this name mentioned for the second time? And then he explains. Hu kedei lehotzi 19 chamisha alim kashim. That was in order to bring out 5 rigid leaves that surround the Shoshana. And we spoke about this. We have been speaking about these 5 rigid leaves during the last lesson. That these are the Masach, the 5 phases in the Masach. Veilu chamesheta elim nikraim yeshuvot. And these 5 leaves are called yeshuvot, are called salvations. Vehem chamisha sharim, and they are 5 gates. While sod ze katuv, and about this secret it is written, Kos Yeshuot esa, the kos, the cup, yes, the cup of salvations. It's not English, but I want stress by this that this is the plural form. The cup of salvations I shall rise. I shall rise. 22. Zehi kos shel bracha. This is the cup of a benediction. You see, also here sometimes you can say in English, you can use the definite article, the, or sometimes an undefinite article, but I try to, and also in Hebrew you have the definite article, the letter hey before a word. before a noun. And sometimes I use, or mainly I will use the Hebrew form again and again to feel, to let you feel the structure of the holy language. So he says, this is the cup of benediction. We hear it is, he said to us, this is a cup of salvation, a cup of benediction. And before that, he said that it is five, that these are 5 leaves, rigid leaves. You see, there are different definitions. 22. Kos shel bracha tzricha 23 ligyot al chamesh etzbaot velo yoter. He says, a cup of benediction ought to be upon 23 fingers, velo yoter, and not more. Kmo 24 HaShoshana, as the Shoshana, that Hayoshevet, that is settling, al chamisha alim kashim, upon 5 rigid leaves, shahem, that are kneget chamesh etzbaot, that are opposite the 5 fingers. The Zohar, what picture the Zohar gives to us? The Zohar makes a comparison between the Shoshana that is settled upon 5 rigid leaves. It means that she has already the masach, this screen. So she's growing, and by the Zohar compares here in this stage with the making of benediction, saying a benediction on, let's say, on Shabbat Eve, or another prescripted time and occasion to say it. And in the same way, and these two are leaning to be compared with each other, because when the Shabbat comes, let's say, or another, or a feast, Yom Tov, then the name of it, Yom Tov, then the host of the house, he places a cup with wine on his left palm, what's it called, hand, and first in his left hand. What does it mean? Because left means gvurot, means dinim, din, and gvura, gvurot. Din, dinim is singular, and plural. Of gvura, of gvurot, means the power of resistance, of the power of restriction that is in the left line, where there is a lack of chasadim, of loving kindness. But instead of, there is a power of gvurot, of chokhmah, of wisdom. But the wisdom that, or the power of wisdom that is not softened by loving kindness. And that must be done by the act of benediction. So he takes a cup on his left, places it on his left hand, and this is like this, the phase of Shoshana that already has 5 rigid leaves. Also here is the same. The left hand has also 5 fingers, and they must resemble to this man who is going now to pronounce the benediction. This power of rigid leaves, or this power of growing up gvorot, which are not yet gvorot, which are only the power of resisting, of not allowing, that not allow the light come inside. Because why? Because there is not yet the strength, is not yet the strength to receive the light of Chokhmah legitimate. It means anti-egoistically. And that's why he takes it in his left hand, and the next, what he does, he joins the right hand to it, and he keeps the cup with wine with 2 hands. What does it mean? It means that he shows by this act, what he does with his hands, that he unites the gvorot of the left hand with loving kindness of the right hand. And then, still, when he unites them, still the gvorot are participating, as it were, in this act, whilst by pronouncing the benediction, all the klipot, all the unclean powers, which are cleaving, as it were, to the left hand, to the gvorot, they disappear with entering of Shabbat, and the entering of Shabbat is made by this benediction on wine. And that's why the next movement, what this man does is that he places then the cup with wine on his only, he leaves the cup with the wine only upon his right hand, and takes a left hand away of it, showing that there is no klipa anymore from the left that participates, as it were, in the saying of the benediction. And all these stages, a man must, this person must visualize in himself by his thoughts. He must bring all his powers from beneath of himself, from below body of himself, up. And all these stages he must feel what he's doing, every movement. And I saw these people, I saw some of them doing this, and I felt that they knew what they did. And this is tremendous to see. Why? Because it's not only hands that are doing, but the hands that are corresponding to and connected to a thought. Because a thought must rule, and not the hands. And then he raises the cup a little bit upper, must be a little bit higher than the surface of the table, like maybe 10 centimeters. There is a measure for it, at least. Why 10? You can already guess why 10. And then he can say it. And there are more things, additional meanings of that. But let's turn back to our Zohar. So, as he says, 25 after the point. V'Shoshana Zohi Kos Shel Bracha, 26. And this Shoshana is Kos Shel Bracha, is cup of benediction. Yes, and this a cup, you see, and in this cup we have wine. Yes, and wine is the light that fills this Shoshana, or the Malchut. Point. Mehashem Elokim Hasheni ad Shem Elokim Hashlishi. Chamesh milim. Then he says, between the second usage of Elokim till the third use of Elokim in the Torah, there are 5 words. So, what he wants to say is that in the beginning of the Torah, there are suggestions of the building up of the Malchut. That's what the Torah tells us. The creation of this Malchut, creation of the Zeir Anpin and Malchut. This is called the world. Yes, 6 and 1, 7 days. 27. After the point. Shehanan, he mentions them, and that we already translated. 28, after the last point. Mikanu lehal'a, from here and further, Sheneimar Elokim Yeh Or, then, from the third Elokim, the third usage of Elokim, and further, we have the words that when he says, let there be light. Yeh Or, who 30 Ha'or Shenivra V'Nignas, and I will add something to this. But in the Torah, you see there are also 5 words of referring to this light, to this word of light, or also 5. And he says, Hu 30 Ha'or Shenivra, this is the light that was created, V'Nignas, and then was hidden, V'Nichlal Bebrit Hahu, and it was enclosed in this brit, in this covenant. And this covenant, he means Yesod van Zeir Anpin. This is the covenant. You see, the covenant between the higher and the lower. Like the covenant was also the rainbow. Rainbow was also the covenant after the water flood, resembling the same structure as in the Atzilut, in the world Atzilut. And the covenant is Yesod, is the covenant. Yesod is the covenant. It means Yesod of Zeir Anpin of Atzilut connects between Zeir Anpin and the Nukva. It connects between the upper world and the lower worlds. And the same we find also in human beings. That's why also the covenant between Hashem, between the Creator and His chosen nation, is through the Yesod, through the circumcision. And not only because it's, and not because it's medical, because of this medical, for medical advantage. And this is the Brit, what he says, V'nichlal b'Brit, and this light, this prime light, was included in the Brit, it means in the Yesod, the inner part of the Yesod. And later, some maybe 30, 35 pages later, we will learn it, a great theme, a great subject of Rav Amenuda Saba, about Otiyot, about the Hebrew letters. And then we will see that this corresponds to the letter Tet. And the letter Tet is the 9th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And this is within the Yesod, this prime light. It was hidden in the Yesod of the Zeir Anpin. Just fix it in yourself, what you hear. And further, no. And more, you want more, no. This is enough. Be glad that you hear something and accept this, and later will come more and more to understand this. But notice with yourself that this is something very, very important. This union through the Yesod. And then he says 30, V'nichlal b'Brit hahu shenichnas b'Shoshana. Look what he says. And this light, this prime light of the creation that was hidden, that in the Brit, and Brit means also, covenant, as I said. And Brit means also something to cut. That's why we say also to covenant, to cut a covenant or to cut an agreement. It's also kind of an agreement. To cut means to agree something, to agree with something between two parties. So it was in this, it was placed in this Brit, shenichnas b'Shoshana, that in the Brit, in this Yesod, that is Brit, that entered in the Shoshana. The Brit Yesod of Zeir Anpin enters into the Shoshana. How? Because it's a higher position. It's the last station of the Zeir Anpin, the fundament. And it enters the Shoshana, as she is the feminine. Vehotzi ba zera, and this Yesod of Zeir Anpin discharges in her, in Shoshana, Zera, the seed. You see how Zohar describes all these things in order that to let us feel how it works. What kind of seed there is? Are there seeds in spirituality, in the powers of the universe? But the higher gives, the masculine gives to a feminine in such a way that she receives it from him. וזה נקרא עץ עושה פרי אשר זרעו בו, and this is called what is in the Torah, what we read in the Torah, that this is called Zeir Anpin, or Yesod of Zeir Anpin, is called what is in the Torah with what we are reading in the Torah in the Breshit. Etz oseh pri, a tree, the tree that makes, literally, the tree that makes fruits. Asher zarobo, that his seed is in him. The seed of this of the pre of fruit is in him. You see, the seed is not in the tree, but the seed is in the fruit. What? The point 32, after the point, והזרע ההוא נמצא באות ברית ממש, and this seed, he says, is found or is situated in fact in this breed itself, in this Yesod. So, how can we understand this? Or the first impression of this, that Yesod receives his seeds, he receives this from Zeir Anpin. Zeir Anpin is from Chesed till Hod, 5 Sfirot. Everything exists of 5 Sfirot. Yes, Zeir Anpin is from Chesed till Hod, 5 Sfirot, 5 Chasadim. And Yesod is actually something that stands apart, separate. It is also it belongs to Zeir Anpin, and still it is something outside of him. It receives Yesod is, that's why Yesod we call it fundament, and it is also like with the human beings, that what is that Yesod is a part of a body of a human being, and it must be connected with Tiferet or Zeir Anpin. It must make one body with Zeir Anpin, and not to be separated. When it is in our world, when a person feels that it's something separated as it were, not from his body, but from his upper place, upper body, then the life becomes double. Then there are, as it were, two lives in one. The upper wants to do something that is reasonable, fashionable, human, and the lower part wants only the bestial, the animal desires, and can't get in line with the upper body. Also here we must train ourselves to make this tikkun. How? We will see, but we see that everything comes from Yesod of the Iranpin of the Atzilut. All the connection, this is the covenant. And in the same way we must do it. And we are falling, and then we are standing up, and then we are falling again. And they say it like this, that the tzaddik, someone who is trying to justify the operational system of the universe, his name is tzaddik. Tzaddik means he who justifies. Then it's written that a tzaddik, remember this word, a tzaddik, and the tzaddik means also tzadi, the letter tzadi, 90, Gematria 90, the value of it is 90. This is also the Iranpin. We will learn it later. So it's written that the tzaddik falls 7 times down, and 7 times he rises up, rises on his feet, whilst how do you call it, Rasha, an evildoer, he falls and he doesn't get up anymore on his feet. This is the yesod of the Iranpin. And the yesod of the Iranpin receives from these 5 chasadim from the Iranpin itself, from chesed up till hod. This is what he receives. And further we will see what the Zohar will tell us. And now we are turning to the left column from 1 up till 12. I tried to explain it already. I explained a little bit. Now the line 13. Ve'elu hei alin takifin. Hu sot hem sot hei teivot sheyesh 14 mi Elokim tinyana ad Elokim tlita'a shehen, double point. 15 Merachefet al pnei hamayim vayomer. Point 13. Ve'elu hei alin takifin. And these 5 rigid leaves. So they are the secret of, it means the essence of 5. Hey is 5, abbreviation of 5. Hey teivot, 5 words. Sheyesh 14. Mi Elokim Tinyana, that they are from the second Elokim, ad Elokim Tlita'a, up till the third Elokim. There are only 5 words, and in the Torah, as the Zohar suggests that in the Torah this is a hint for something. These 5 words, shehen, that these words are 15, and this maybe it's good to a good thing, to a right thing, to study your Zohar, and you see there are references to the Torah, and then you open the beginning of the Torah and you read it. Shehen, that these words are 15. Marachefet al pnei hamayim vayomer. Marachefet means he is hovering al, above, pnei, the surface, hamayim, the waters, vayomer, and he said. Point. Vize shomer. Amai 16. Itkar zimna achra. Shemashma sheyesh kan peula 17. Hadasha. Veomer shehu chedei lehotzi mihanukva. 18. Hei alin takifin eilu. Shehem hachana lezivug bazman 19. Hagadlut. Actually, he repeats a little bit about these 5 rigid leaves. But he explains it more and more. 15 after the point. V'zeh shomer, and that is what he says. The Zohar. Amai 16 etkar zimna achra. Why is it mentioned the second time the name Elokim? You see, and why it is the name Elokim so important here? What I want to add here, why he's so speaks about this Elokim, between 2 Elokims, the first and the second and the third. You see, the name Elokim we learned is Din. It shows that it's Din, by severity is the world created. Firstly. So, and then later we will see, a little bit later we will see 2 names. Havaya Elokim. The 4 letters, the name existing of the 4 letters, Havaya, tetragrammaton, precedes the name Elohim. When something precedes in this language, in the holy language, it means that the quality of it dominates something that is behind of it. And this is valid in both in between the words, let's say two words, and between the letters in a word, in one single word as well. So if we see Havaya Elohim, then we see that these both names show that Elohim is behind the Havaya. And Havaya is mercy. And then we see that Havaya can be Zeranpin and Elohim can be Malchut. Or Havaya can be Abba and Elohim can be Ima. So in this connection, they are standing with each other. And this means Rachamim, mercy. But how can it be mercy if we see the name Elohim? Yes, the name Elohim is behind. It means that firstly there was something that was described by this name, an action or something else, or condition, a state of something is described by these two names. But it means that firstly it was Elohim, firstly it was a Katnut, and then it came to the state of Gadlut. That's why they are two. And it means also that they are both now in harmony. They are in Zivuk. We say it, that they are in Zivuk. It means that she, the Malchut, is in this condition. She rised up to Zeranpin, and sometimes it is that he, Zeranpin, descends to her. Normally it's like this, that in the evening he descends to her, and in the morning she rises to him. Actually, they are always together. But sometimes it looks as if she, or the name Elohim, dominates. And the name Zeranpin, or the name Havaya, is hidden within her. And in the daytime, because why? Because in the evening, in the nights, in the first part of the night, from an evening till the end of the first part of the night, every night, Malchut she has the domination. And in the morning, very early in the morning, we will see it from the second part already starts from the second part of the night, already is growing the day. The day is growing. Then, step by step, in the morning is the power is given to Zeir Anpin. That's why Zeir Anpin is loving kindness. That's why in the morning we all the creatures feel loving kindness. The birds, the animals, the human being, everyone. It is interesting also that I mentioned this, that all the, how do you call it, terechtstellingen, all the executions, look at the world, how they perform the executions. All these executions, normally if you see in the world, they do it not in the evening time, but very, very early in the morning. They don't understand why, but they do it correctly. But because it must be loving kindness, even doing this thing like execution. Because the name, it must be done still with loving kindness on the background. It's a buff given to human race to do it like this. Now what he says in the line 15, where Zeshomer, and that's what the Zohar says. Amai itkar zimna achra. Why is it the name Elohim mentioned for the second time? 16. She mashma sheyesh kan peula chadasha, that it means it seems to mean sheyesh kan peula chadasha, that there is here some new action in the creation. Veomer, and he says, the Zohar says, Shehu chedei lehotzi mihanukva, that this is in order to bring out from the nukva of the Shoshana. 18. Hey alin takifin eil, these 5 rigid leaves. Shehem hachana, that they are the preparation lezivug bazman gadlut, for the zivug in the time of the gadlut. And this is of great importance. The gadlut is impossible without a prior preparation, making in all the engravings in the state of katnut, which engravings are used in the time of gadlut to be filled in with light. Without katnut, there is no gadlut. So we see that also with us is like this, that the conditions of darkness are preparation for receiving the light in the morning. That's why a day starts in the evening, and that's why we read in the Torah, and it was evening, and it was how do you call it? And it was evening, and it was day, one day. Yeah, and then it is repeated in every day. And it was evening, and it was day, morning, and it was evening, and it was morning, the second day. Yes, and it was evening, and it was morning, the third day. But only on the first day it was written, and it was evening, and it was morning, one day, in order to show us that the evening and the morning form together one day, that one can't be without another one. And that's why also the name Elohim is always connected to Havaya. And this is a very important feature for us, because if I feel in some situation, I feel dinim, I feel severity, then if I know that it is a part of a part of a day, a part of a light, then I know that it is a stage where where the name Havaya, where the mercy is hidden from me. And if I'm used to recognize this, and I'm willing to still recognize this, then it gives me a tremendous mechanism to come out of this situation, to overwin this difficult situation. How? It means that I am filled now in my situation, that I am filled by the left line. I mean, I within myself am leaning then at that moment to the left. And that's why I feel darkness. Then I feel gvurot, and I feel chokhmah, but I don't see the light. It's burning in me. And then this is then the sign for me to ask for loving kindness. And to do this, I must, within myself, make the movement, a suitable movement, a movement towards the right line. It means I must make myself my wish at this moment, or whatever it is at this moment. I must make it shorter, Shota, it means every wish has 5 phases. And that means that I must make my wish shorter. I must rise up within myself to shorten my, as it were, vision. Just for a short time, in order to unite myself with the Binah. Why? Because at this moment, I am disconnected, as it were, from the attribute of mercy. And then if I do this, then, and if you do this regularly, then you would be able to rely upon any time, any moment of your life. This is a question of recognition and experience. And you feel it, you prove it, and then again and again, and then you learn, rely on this way of rising yourself up to the Binah and connect yourself with the Binah, and then accumulate, then you accumulate more power in connection with the Binah. Why? Because in your stage where you feel darkness, you are separated from the Binah. Because Malchut, as we learned, has nothing from herself after the Tzimtzum, after the first restriction. So the only way for her to get light is to unite her with the Binah. And the Binah is the wish, the attitude of giving. And then, after being with the Binah, we will learn how it's going. Then, the Malchut, and this is you, can descend again back to your place. It's not always, it's always a new place, but and how to do it, that's what the Zohar will teach us. Because when a person starts to learn Kabbalah, then everything is horizontal in his perception. Just a little bit higher in intellectuality, in some intellectual kicks, it's like this. But in the feeling, there are no levels. And everything in the Kabbalah means that how to do it, how to bring the powers from under my middle, above, over there, make all preparations, and then to bring it back through the way, through the middle way, and to make Gadlut, to unite, to reunite, to make a reunion between the upper and lower parts. And this is what the Zohar tells us, that here the Shoshana that this action is the appearance of 5 rigid leaves, unnecessary for here. That this is the preparation for the zivug in the time of the Gadlut. Uma she'elu eser sfirot. The or chozer nikraot hei gvurot shehen 21 Chagat na we inan nikraot kacha betum kanal point. The sentence is not finished, but he placed a point. Doesn't matter. 20. Uma she'elu eser sfirot de or chozer, and the fact that these 10 sfirot of the or chozer, of the reflected light, nikraot hei gvorot, are called hei gvorot, 5 gvorot. Remember the gvorot? Shehen, that these are 21. Chagatna, this, he says, why the fact that he calls them Chagatna. This Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzer, Hod. This is what he points here out, that he wants us to see the difference. Ve'inan nikraot, and they are not called Kacha Betum, Keter, Chochma, Bina, Tiferet, and Malchut, Kanal as above. Because we know that everything exists of these 5 Sfirot, Keter, Chochma, Bina, Tiferet, and Malchut. Tiferet is like Zeranpin. Because Tiferet is the representative of Zeranpin, one of the Sfirah, but they call it, the name of it is Tiferet, covers all 6 Sfirot of Zeranpin. So he says, what is the difference then? What is the meaning that these 5 Gvurot of hair, of the Nukva? Because the Nukva rises up, the essence, the 5 Gvurot. Yeah, we learned it. And why the name of them are Chagat, Na, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, and Hod. And not Kachab, Tum, and not normal Keter, Chochma, Bina, Tiferet, Umalchut. Hainyan hu, the matter, the Hainyan hu, Mipnei, She Einam Mamshichot, Ela, or 23, Chasadim Levade, Velachen Yardu Kachab, Mi Maalatam, 24, Venikraim Chagat, Vetiferet Umalchut, Nikraim Bashem, Netzach, Vehod. That's what he says, he explains it to us. 22. Hainyan hu, the question is, the meaning of it is, the explanation of it is, mipnei she'einan mamshichot ela or chasadim levat, because they attract only or chasadim, only the light of chasadim and not chokhmah. Why is this? Because the malchut and Zeir Anpin, they are under the masach. Yeah, masach stands where? In the rosh, in the peh. Yeah, masach stands normally under the keter chokhmah and bina, under the head of 10 sfirot. The first upper 3 sfirot, they are called rosh, head, and then in the rosh, the place is peh, we call it peh, mouth. There is the masach, and because the light comes through the masach from the head into the body, that's why no chokhmah comes inside like it was in the head, but in place of the chokhmah, they receive the Anpin, and then Nukwa receives Chasadim and Gvurot. Because it's like filter. The lower part of a Partsuf, Zeir Anpin, has no power anymore to receive this Chokhmah, and neither the Nukwa. So they receive Chasadim and Gvurot, the same kind of Sfirot. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod. They are Chasadim in Zeir Anpin. So, loving kindness. And with the Nukwa, they are Din or Gvurot. And that's what he says, 22. Hainyanhu, that's because she'inan mamshechot ela or chasadim levat, because they attract or draw only the light of chasadim. Velachen, and that's why Yardu Kachab Mimalatam. That's why the Kachab, so the first 3 Sfirot, or the light of the first 3 Sfirot, descended from their height 24. V'nikraim Chagat, and now in the body they are called Chagat, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. So, in the body is Keter, Chokhmah, Bina, they are called Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. Yes? So the 3 Sfirot, the 3 Gar, we call it, the 3 upper Sfirot in the body, the name of it, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, they also fulfill this role in the body. V'Tiferet u'Malchut, and the Tiferet and Malchut that are in the head. They are here in the body, they are called Bashem, Netzach, V'Hod. They are called in the name Netzach and Hod. Yes, so we see in the body, and this is in every Partsuf, in every 10 Sfirot, in every, 5 or 10 Sfirot, that in the body we have Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. They are like Keter, Chokhmah, and Bina in the head of Partsuf. And Netzach and Hod are corresponding to Tiferet or Zeir Anpin and Malchut in the head. This is in the body. This is concerning the Zeir Anpin, but also in the Nukwa. In the Nukwa is the same. Only in the Nukwa, the name of the light that they receive is Gvurot. And we will see why is it like this. Because the quality of Malchut is Gvurot. Because, why is Gvurot? Gvurot, because the Malchut, as we learned, her quality is, it is a feminine part. And her role is, first of all, to make a border, no? And to make a grens, to make a boundary. Without boundary is no way to perceive something. That's why she makes boundary, and every time, look where you see in the nature even some boundary, you have a lot of noise, a lot of power. Look at the Niagara, waterfall. How, Niagara. Okay, yeah, Niagara. Okay, in Canada, yes, I think. Any waterfall, you see waterfall, it means that it falls somewhere on a surface that a hard surface, and that's why it makes noise and also powers, because the waterfall won't just fall without any restrictions. And if you restrict something, then you have these powers, like what he says here, the Gvurot. Look also in every society we have the same. The police, a police in every state. Other things you see in the society, the lawyers, not the lawyers, the persecutors, yes, the, how do you call it, the prosecutors, you see, the court, there's also a kind of a restriction that is made, because these two powers are working in the universe. We have finished our lesson, and work on it. Try to make yourself responsive to what you are hearing. It's a lot of things, a lot of information. Huh? Make yourself receptive. And just, it is a question also of accumulating of your own powers within yourself and restructuring of your inner powers, letting them work for giving in place of only to receive for yourself.